Thank you.
Steven. He waits until I leave the table to get this gigantic chocolate shake. Unbelievable. He's not a sugar addict, though. I am, so that's all right. And he can handle it. So good evening. Good evening. Welcome to another Monday Night Live at Cafe Gratitude. Thank you so much for coming out this evening. Okay, I'm going to try that again. Welcome to another Monday Night Live at Cafe Gratitude. Thank you. That was so unexpected. Obviously, my name is Shea, and I'm the organizer of this event, and I'm co-presenting this evening with the lovely and talented Elaina Love. And before I actually get into the presentation, there's a few things I want to announce. So this is what I'm calling breaking news. Breaking news. So Kevin, I think I mentioned it last week, but it was a very, very, very small crowd. So I want to just say that Kevin Gianni is returning in July. So if any of you got to see him, or if you know who he is, he does the Renegade Health Show. And also, so go to renegadehealthshow.com. He's really entertaining, puts out 5-minute videos every day, answers your questions. You ask him a question, he'll go find you the answer. He's amazing. He also just wrote a new book called Go Get High Raw. And it's today. If you go to renegadehealthshow.com, you can download the entire book for free. It's his gift to you. So that's pretty cool. Do any of you know who Beth Berry is? She goes by Bunny Berry. She started Rafu. Well, a couple things about Bunny. We got her as a speaker for Monday Night Live in November, which I'm very excited about. And then actually Rafu just put out their first ever magazine. So this I just got in the mail today. It's really beautiful. And this is, of course, Philip McCluskey on the cover. But check it out. It's just a beautiful raw magazine. We have so few of them out there. We've got, of course, Living Nutrition, which has turned to Vibrance. I don't think Just Eat an Apple is out there anymore. But now we've got Rafu, which is and Get Fresh. So definitely check that out. And they have an online version too, if you don't care about having it in your hand. I also got Tiziana Alipo Tambora. I can't say it right, but she's the main baker for Cafe Gratitude. We met with her. She's making our wedding cake, and she's also the writer of Sweet Gratitude, the dessert book here, and she's going to be a speaker in November. I'm so excited about that. And then, of course, as Cecilia knows, because of our flurry of phone conversations with Paul yesterday, or the day before, Paul Nissan, the author of Raw Life and several other books, he's going to be here, of course, for the Living Light Expo. And the day after the Living Light Expo, we already were booked with Matt Monarch and Angela Stokes. So we're going to do a special Tuesday Night Live so Paul can come in and present to you all. So that's going to be a huge week. August, we'll have Gabrielle Brick, Dr. Doug Graham, Matt Monarch, Angela Stokes, Paul Nissan, and Steve Adler, who does Sacred Chocolate. So that's going to be a really incredible month. So I do have one more thing to say, which is the upcoming speakers for the next 4 weeks. Next week is Dr. Alan Goldhammer, and he's talking about escaping the pleasure trap. The Pleasure Trap is a book that he wrote. It's a rational approach to radical diets. The next week, May 18th, we have Julia Stagey. She's actually the graphic artist who did she did the Abounding River game that's in front of you right now, and she does a lot of law of attraction sort of work. So hers is attracting what you want using the strategic attraction plan. May 25th, we have Joy Metcalf. She's a Reiki master and a medical intuitive, and she's doing the 4 pillars of health. And then on June 1st, we have Matt Samuelson. And he never really gave me a title for his talk, but after listening to our conversation a few times, I've decided to call it something like how to turn your kitchen time into play time. So basically how not to be married to a recipe, like really simple ways to make up your own recipes. So that sounds really fun. So for tonight, we have myself, Shea Baird, and Elaina Love. And we're going to be talking about 5 ways to alkalize your body and live a more vibrant life. We're going to introduce ourselves. So I'll start since I just have the mic, which is, my name is Shea Lynn Baird, and I've been a certified colon hydrotherapist in Santa Rosa for the last 9 years, and my joke there is that's a lot of poop. So I kind of consider myself the food out girl, whereas Elaina's a raw chef, so she's the food in girl, and then together we kind of put together this whole picture of pH and how it works in your body and what the result of imbalance in that system can be. So roughly I got into raw foods because I was sick and unhealthy and very young. Western medicine couldn't figure anything out. They said, the standard, you're aging, and I'm thinking I'm like 23, I'm not aging yet. It's also it's in your mind. It's a lot of those kind of answers. It's nothing, you're making it up, but here, take this, substitute, whatever drug for this for every day for the rest of your life. So I did for a while, but I knew there must be a better way. And I also am a member of 12-step programs. And in 12-step programs, you get a sponsor. And one of the rules for getting a sponsor is you look for somebody who has what you want, and then you follow that person's advice. So I went through my Rolodex, and I was thinking, who's going to be my health sponsor? And I had this vibrant, gorgeous, healthy, beautiful girlfriend named Allegra. And if she's watching, hi Allegra, she's in New Zealand now. But she was a raw foodist, and we all thought she was a complete freak. I mean, she brought her own food everywhere she went. She always had canning jars full of green liquid and that whole thing. And now I just bless her for being the person in my life that walked ahead with the machete and sort of cleared the pathway, made it a lot easier for me. And the first thing she did was hand me the book by Richard Anderson, Cleanse and Purify Thyself. It's the accompanying book to the Arise and Shine 28-Day Cleanse. And before I'd finished the book, definitely by the time I'd finished the cleanse, I was convinced that raw food was the way to go. Not that I was able to stay, this was in 1999, so it's not like I'd stayed with it perfectly that whole time. I had some really struggling years there. But along my path, I ended up becoming a colon hydrotherapist, then a food allergy and sensitivity testing consultant. We also have a few other modalities in our office. My partner, Steven, who's at the camera right now, also works in the office. He's a practitioner at this point too. He's doing colon hydrotherapy as well. And so we've had an opportunity, I have over the last 9 years, to really play with people and watch. It's just an experiment. It's just an experiment. There's nothing that's cut in stone. There's nothing that is cut and dry. It's what works for one person, and they love it so much that they write a book about it and tell you that this is the way. May not work for you, but it's getting out there and starting and seeing what works in your body. Raw makes sense, so however much of that you can tolerate, however much of that your tolerance builds up to, whether you're eating these foods or that, or only fruit, or only greens, or lots of avocado, it doesn't matter. Just start playing with it and you'll find the balance that works for you. But I've had the great opportunity of watching lots of people through cleansing and through switching their diet get better from a lot of situations. So that's sort of my background. And here's Elaina. Tell us your background, Elaina.
Hi everybody. Actually, our stories are quite similar, Shea. I also got into raw foods because of that book, the same book, Cleanse and Purify Thyself. I also had a guru that was from New Zealand and lives in New Zealand. And same thing, she was just kind of throwing, here, try some juices, different things. And that was way before I really got into raw, but just kind of, sometimes someone just plants the seed in your mind, and then when you finally find it, you're like, oh yeah, this makes sense. So my story is that I got into raw because I had food allergies, candida, all kinds of things going on in my system, and just got introduced to raw through the Cleanse and Purify book. And when I read the book, it totally made sense. It was what I just felt like it was truth in my body. It was what I needed to do. And I never looked back. Just started on the raw path and have just been journeying ever since. And I have a company called Pure Joy Planet where I teach, I do raw food consultations. I do monthly classes. I have a few coming up in the Bay Area. You can look on my website for those. And I also do chef certifications. So I teach people how to be a raw food caterer or chef or instructor. So that's kind of my niche, my specialty. And I just love this whole raw food arena, you can call it, because like Shea said, there's so many different people doing different things, and it's this big experiment, like let's see how, these different foods work in our body at different times, and everybody has a little bit different story and a little bit different way that their body works.